Really pick up the relief there, you see, Giles? And from that basis, you can draw the actual stratigraphy.
For centuries, Angkor Wat has been called heaven on earth, its towers carved to mirror the home of the gods. But ancient monks warned that beneath heaven, there is always a hell. In 2024, new LiDAR scans pierced through the Cambodian jungle and found something hidden beneath the temple. Sealed chambers, perfectly geometric, untouched for nearly a millennium. No one knew why they were there. No record, no scripture, no legend explained them. Until explorers opened one. What they found inside was not gold, nor statues, but a truth darker than myth. A secret that connects kings, gods, and blood. And for the first time in history, Angkor Wat's silence began to speak. For centuries, Angkor Wat has stood in silence, its towers rising from the Cambodian jungle like a dream carved in stone. Built in the 12th century by King Suryavarman II, it was meant to mirror the heavens themselves, Mount Meru, home of the gods. But even today, archaeologists can't explain how a medieval kingdom, surrounded by dense forest and monsoon floods, built the largest religious monument on Earth with such precision. Its alignment is perfect, its canals defy engineering logic, and its walls tell stories of gods and demons locked in eternal struggle. Yet one question lingered. Why does Angkor Wat face west, the direction of death? Ancient Khmer builders said it was a passage between worlds. Some believed the temple's beauty hid something beneath, something sacred or forbidden. For centuries, that idea was dismissed as legend until modern technology proved it might be true. By the 21st century, Angkor Wat was thought to be fully mapped. Every carving, moat, and staircase had been measured. But in 2012, a team using advanced LiDAR scanning flew over the jungle canopy, and what appeared on their screens changed everything. The lasers pierced through the trees, stripping the forest bare in digital form. Beneath the surface lay patterns no one had ever seen, buried roads, lost settlements, and geometric outlines beneath the temple itself.
If you love deep investigations, mysterious discoveries, and cinematic storytelling, subscribe for more documentaries uncovering hidden truths.
Vast rectangles aligned perfectly with its sacred center. These weren't natural voids or erosion pockets. They were too symmetrical, too intentional. The scans hinted at sealed chambers, structures deliberately hidden beneath the holiest ground of Angkor Wat. Archaeologists hesitated to believe it. For 900 years, the temple's foundations had been considered sacred. If something truly lay beneath, it meant the builders designed a secret world under heaven's image, and perhaps, for a reason no one dared to speak aloud. Before technology could see beneath Angkor Wat, the people who lived around it claimed to hear it. Farmers spoke of hollow sounds echoing through their fields. Monks warned visitors never to linger near certain walls, what they called the restless places. When French explorers arrived in the 1800s, they recorded the same unsettling patterns: sealed corridors, uneven floors, and walls that looked deliberately closed off. Henri Mouhot, the man who reintroduced Angkor Wat to the world, wrote of a silence that felt guarded. He sensed that the temple itself didn't want to be disturbed. For decades, such stories were dismissed as folklore, until modern excavations confirmed anomalies beneath the central sanctuary. Still, no one dared to dig. Local guides warned that those who tried would suffer sickness, collapse, or madness. And when the first ground-penetrating radar was brought to the site, something happened that no one could explain. The radar team began their scans quietly, expecting stone foundations and soil, but the signals they received were wrong. Instead of solid rock, the machines showed echo patterns, hollow zones, perfectly rectangular, stretching deep below the main sanctuary. One was almost the size of a small hall.
At first, the team thought it was a measurement glitch. Then, one by one, the instruments began to fail. Batteries drained without reason. Lights flickered in the chambers above. Locals whispered that the spirits were resisting. Even seasoned archaeologists admitted the air felt different near the central platform, thicker, almost heavy with static. When they reviewed the data later, the image was unmistakable. Beneath the temple lay a sealed corridor descending at an angle, ending in a void. It was the kind of structure no one had ever documented at Angkor Wat, and to reach it, they would have to break through sacred stone.
It took weeks to prepare for the excavation. Engineers reinforced the site with steel frames to prevent collapse, and priests from a nearby monastery were invited to bless the ground. The locals refused to watch. They said the temple had been sealed for a reason. When the first stone was pried loose, a stale breath of air rushed out, air that had not moved for centuries. The workers stepped back as dust spiraled upward like smoke. The entrance sloped downward, narrow and dark, carved by hand. The walls were coated in hardened mortar, still bearing the marks of chisels. Someone long ago had made sure no one would ever return this way. The team switched on their lamps and descended in single file. What awaited them below wasn't a chamber of gods or treasure. It was something far older, something the light seemed afraid to touch. The corridor twisted before widening into a hollow space. Their lamps revealed soot-black walls, carved with faint figures that time had nearly erased. At first, the carvings looked decorative, spirals, serpents, and waves. Then one of the archaeologists realized what they truly were: Naga serpents devouring human forms. In Khmer tradition, Nagas guard the gates between worlds. But these carvings didn't look protective. They looked like warnings. Every sound seemed swallowed by the dark. The deeper they walked, the heavier the air became. Thick, humid, almost unbreathable. Someone whispered that the oxygen levels were dropping, yet their meters stayed normal. The group stopped at what appeared to be a sealed stone door. No hinges, no handle, just mortar packed tight as bone. When they shone their lights across its surface, they saw the symbols again, the serpents coiled in circles, as if guarding what lay beyond. And then, faintly, they heard something move behind the wall. The decision was made just before dawn. Against the monks' warnings, the lead archaeologist ordered the door unsealed. It took 6 hours of chiseling to break the mortar. Each strike echoed like thunder through the corridor, and every echo seemed to come back softer, as if something was listening. When the final slab shifted, a rush of air hissed out, carrying a metallic smell no one could place. The lamps flickered violently. One worker swore he saw movement, but nothing was there.
Inside was a narrow space leading downward again, stairs carved in perfect symmetry. They descended slowly, the beam of each flashlight trembling. At the bottom, the air was foul and still. A chamber opened before them, its ceiling high, its floor smooth, its walls painted with faint traces of red. Someone touched the stone and whispered, "This isn't paint." And then the lights went out. When the lights flickered back to life, no one spoke. Their beams fell on shapes covering the floor, not artifacts, not debris, but bones. Dozens of them. Some arranged in circles, others aligned toward a single stone altar at the center of the chamber. Wrists and ankles bound, skulls cracked clean through. At first they thought it might be a burial pit, until one researcher noticed the markings, deep blade cuts on ribs and spines. These weren't honored dead. They were offerings. On the altar sat bronze vessels, their surfaces green with age. Inside clung a dark residue that laboratory analysis would later confirm, traces of human and animal blood mixed together. Above the altar, a faint inscription read, "The blood beneath sustains the gods." Someone whispered that they should leave, but before they could turn back, another door revealed itself, smaller, hidden in shadow, and still sealed. Word of the discovery spread fast, but few details ever reached the public. The official report called it a ritual foundation deposit. Yet those who stood in that chamber knew the truth was darker. The Khmer Empire built Angkor Wat as a bridge to the divine, but the bridge demanded a price. In the 12th century, King Suryavarman II ruled as a god king. He believed his kingdom mirrored heaven itself. To keep the balance, something had to mirror hell beneath it. The vault was that mirror, the sacrifices, the blood, the silence, all offered to feed the gods that guarded his reign.
Historians now wonder if the empire's sudden collapse centuries later wasn't just political. Droughts, wars, famine, or perhaps the gods turned away when the offerings stopped. Because when the vault was sealed, the skies above Angkor began to die. Today, tourists walk above that same ground, unaware of what lies beneath their feet. They take pictures of sunrise over the towers, never knowing that below them, sealed behind ancient stone, the vault still waits, untouched since the day it was rediscovered. Officials deny further excavations, citing structural risk. But satellite data shows more voids stretching beyond the main temple, deeper, wider, perfectly aligned, as if part of a hidden network. Some believe more chambers remain sealed, containing the empire's final rites. Others think disturbing them could awaken what the ancients feared most. No one truly knows what the builders buried or why they wanted it forgotten. But one thing is certain. Angkor Wat was never just a temple. It was a map of heaven built above a door to something else. And that door has only begun to open.